Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to another exciting session of my personal research project, and that is about the SensGuitar. I'm particularly pleased to be able to talk about this work today, as the presentations on this endeavor have never been so compact as close to the end of this research project. I've never been able to talk about so many artifacts at once as I have today, and questions will probably never be so versatile. I have prepared the following cross-section outline for this topic. In the previous sessions, I have motivated by starting from the state of the art. We have addressed the question, how can traditional guitar building and modern computer systems be brought together? Why was it necessary to conduct this research? What do we get out of it? And which kinds of requirements do we have to satisfy? How was proceeded and what the results of the design science-oriented research should look like have been addressed in the next agenda item. Then we have come to the presentation of the product or the artifact that was created, the SensGuitar and its infrastructure embedding. These refer to the basis of the new feedback and visualization possibilities. In the second session, we have conquered the artifact design. Since we have issued the conceptual demonstration in the third presentation session, and we have focused on the prototype level in the fourth session, we have cared about the question how the prototype can be applied in scenarios. This holds the demonstration agenda item. The next agenda item holds the approach of evaluating using requirements specified in advance. The three relevant examples are addressed here. First, education, second, production, and third, band. As we have addressed limitations and the need for further research and development steps, today's presentation session focuses on the environment of the SensGuitar. We are going to care about the question how to progress sense instruments efficiently, how many actors can be involved. So let's focus on today's agenda points. Today I'm going to focus on the environment of the SensGuitar. This refers to the creation of an entire ecosystem and the identification of numerous kinds of roles. Each role or each kind of ecosystem participant needs to be integrated by an individual attractive business model, which will be issued in the next agenda item. As it is intended to integrate numerous participants, potential customers, the so-called core users of the SensGuitar, such as guitarists, musicians, bands, then I'm going to address the community integration. This is an essential strategy to continue prototyping and development of the sense instruments because it shall consider your sensitives and gusto. Hence, it is important to enable you to be part of the development process, and I'm going to speak about the open source strategy. Since numerous topics are brought together here, I'm going to guide you through the slides topic-wise. Finally, an interim conclusion will be drawn so that we are ready to go for the next presentation session. I suggest we have many agenda points to conquer. Let's start right away. In the last presentation, we have addressed the research motivation. Among further, we have detailed the technical perspective on guitars. These refer to non-digital systems, non-autonomous systems, non-intelligent systems, non-feedbacking systems, and non-adaptive systems. For further details on these key points, please have a look on the last session. Further, we have detailed the situational perspective on guitars. These realize inefficient knowledge transfers. Only late feedback is enabled by them. This feedback is only provided by third parties. Thus, low qualitative collaboration results can be expected. If you are interested in further explanations on this, please have a look in the last session. However, the research question was the following. How can stringed musical instruments, such as guitars, be made intelligent to enhance knowledge transfer? Further, in the last session, we have conquered the infrastructure embedding of the SensGuitar. Our interim conclusion was that the SensGuitar is interwoven in IoT structures which technically support the collaborative way of making music. So, the SensGuitar is not only set up as a cyber-physical system, which you can see on the left, it is connected with a sense instrument environment that contains an arbitrary number of further devices, sense instruments and sense guitars. Among them, you can find teachers, producers and band members that are connected with the individual musician. Because of this, they can interact with the musician in real time. Please get detailed information about this from the last session. Further, in the last session, we have conquered the generalization and abstraction of the SensGuitar process. Our interim conclusion was that the traditional guitar was considered as passive tangible resource object only. Because of the new process design, the traditional guitar usage is realizable. In addition, 3 new kinds of tasks can be realized. First, a process step called manual feedback. Here, the guitarist is enabled by the SensGuitar and novel forms of interactions to manually feedback the current guitar playing. Please remark, the SensGuitar is considered as IT system in this case. Second, a process step called automated feedback. Here, the guitarist is enabled by the SensGuitar because the SensGuitar generates a feedback autonomously. Please remark, the SensGuitar is considered as a cyber-physical system in this case. Third, a process step called remote feedback. Here, the guitarist is enabled by the SensGuitar, which is used as interaction partner with remote instances. It takes all kinds of sensors, actuators, processors and communicators into account too. Thus, it functions as cyber-physical system in this case too. Please get detailed information about this from the last session. In the last session, I have clarified the physical realization of sense instruments. A great number of different sensors and actuators have been integrated with the traditional guitar design so that the SensGuitar can perceive and manipulate its environment. As an interim conclusion, we have recognized that cyber-physical system capabilities and its physical manifestation supports the autonomous feedbacking by and because of the SensGuitar. Please get detailed information about this from the last session. Further, in the last session, I have clarified the realization of numerous prototype applications and how these can be accessed via the SensGit menu. These are updatable over the air so that the SensGuitar can evolve with the individual musician. As an interim conclusion, we have recognized that cyber-physical system capabilities are supported by the apps presented. It enables the SensGuitar to autonomously feedback the musician. Please get detailed information about this from the last session. But what does the SensGuitar mean for the roles aside the traditional musician? How to deal with the new features from an economic perspective? Let's be clear right at the beginning. The environment of the SensGuitar and sense instruments enable more than 25 different roles. Today, I intend to just exemplarily clarify some of those roles because this topic is huge. I have categorized them by musician-centered roles that are directly in touch with the musician. I'm going to focus on those first because we have addressed their scenarios at the previous sessions. Thereafter, I'm going to focus on industry-centered roles which do not directly get in touch with the individual musician. However, these kinds of roles and numerous further roles do realize an economic potential. But how to create different new business models of a new kind of instrument? A methodological approach for developing business models refers to the business model canvas. Here, relevant roles are issued categorized as follows. Key partners show who can help you elevate the business model. Key activities refer to activities you really need to do to generate value. Key resources refer to resources and the infrastructure you need to create, deliver, and capture value. Value propositions. Here you are connecting products and services that generate values for customers. Customer relationships address the type of relationship you build with individual customers. Channels describe with which touchpoints for transmitting values. Customer segments addressing people and organizations for which values are generated. Cost structure. Once you understand how your business model infrastructure works, you can derive your cost structure. Revenue streams address income flows and make clear how and through which price mechanisms values are captured. Hence, this kind of structuring can support the creation of business models for sense instruments too. So, having clarified how to specify new business models of the SensGuitar as a new kind of instrument, let's focus on the individual musicians first. Individuals are enabled by the SensGuitar to consider two kinds of roles. First, they can consider the role of customers, which is highlighted in blue. Let's clarify this role first. On the very right, we can recognize that values are generated for the individuals by supporting the learning of scales, chords, cadences, songs, etc. Further, values are generated for the individuals by providing SensGuitar-based on-site feedback as well as remote feedback. Please remember the novel process design for sense instruments and the conceptual and prototype demonstration of this we have seen in the previous sessions. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every app, scale or song downloaded is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing. Second, individual can consider the role of content producers, which is highlighted in green. Let's focus on this now. Right at the center of the canvas, the individual can provide value for other individuals. As an example, individuals can share their compositions, songs, or recordings so that others can access them as customers. Further, individuals can get in touch with others easily. For instance, they can have live sessions of their composing activities, give online concerts, and share their emotions on making music with others. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every scale, song, or concert provided is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing, such as a price per concert hour. Of course, all these explanations refer to only some examples of a business model creation. This is indicated by the dots throughout the figure. As a conclusion, one can say there are numerous options to design attractive business models from the perspective of individuals. Let's now focus on the band members. Bands are enabled by the SensGuitar to consider two kinds of roles. First, they can consider the role of customers, which is highlighted in blue. Let's clarify this role first. On the very right, we can recognize that values are generated for the band members by supporting the jamming on-site and off-site. For example, by effect apps or recording apps, etc. Further, values are generated for the bands by providing SensGuitar-based on-site feedback as well as remote feedback. Please remember the novel process design for the sense instruments and the conceptual and prototype demonstrations of this. These we have clarified in previous sessions. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every app, every effect or recording carried out is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing too. Second, individual bands can consider the role of content producers, which is highlighted in orange. Let's focus on this now. Right at the center of the canvas, the band members can provide value for other individuals of bands. As an example, band members can share their compositions, songs, or recordings so that others can access them as customers. Further, band members can get in touch with others easily. For instance, they can have a live session of their composition activities, give online concerts, and share their emotions on making music with others. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every song, recording, or concert provided is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing, such as a price per hour concert. Of course, all these explanations again refer to only some examples of a business model creation. This is indicated by the dots throughout the figure. As a conclusion, one can say there are numerous options to design attractive business models from the perspectives of bands too. Let's now focus on teachers. Teachers are enabled by the SensGuitar to support individual musicians as follows. Teachers can consider the role of content producers, which is highlighted in yellow. Let's focus on this first. Right at the center of the canvas, the teacher can provide value for other individual musicians. As an example, teachers can share their feedback, tutorials, or video lessons so that others can access them as customers. Further, teachers can get in touch with its pupils easily. For instance, they can have live sessions of their composing activities, give online concerts, live lessons, and share their emotions on making music with others. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every tutorial, feedback, or video lesson or live lesson provided is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing, such as a price per guitar lesson. Highlighted in blue, individuals, pupils, receive values proposed in the role of customers. Let's clarify this now. On the very right, we can recognize that values are generated for the individuals by supporting the learning on the basis of remote feedback, which is provided via audio and the SensGuitar. Please remember the novel process design for Sense instruments, the task was called remote feedback, and the conceptual and prototype demonstrations of this. Further, values are generated for the individuals by providing tutorials in the form of interactive videos and pedagogic exercises that have been prepared by the teacher. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every feedback or tutorial is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing in addition. Of course, all these explanations refer to only some examples of a business model creation. This is indicated by the dots throughout the figure. As a conclusion, one can say there are numerous options to design attractive business models from the perspective of teachers. Let's now focus on the music producers. Producers are enabled by the SensGuitar to support individual musicians as follows. Producers can consider the role of content producers, which is highlighted in gray. Let's focus on this first. Right at the center of canvas, the producer can provide value for other individual musicians. As an example, producers can share their feedback, recordings, sound configurations, or joint sessions so that others can access those as customers. Further, producers can get in touch with its customers easily. For instance, they can have live sessions of their recording activities, provide sound configurations online, and share emotions on recordings with others. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every feedback, recorded audio file, sound, or recording session provided is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing, such as a price per recording session or recording hour. Highlighted in blue, individuals receive values proposed in the role of customers. Let's clarify this now. On the very right, we can recognize that values are generated for the individuals by supporting the recording on the basis of remote feedback, which is provided via audio and the SensGuitar. Please remember the novel process design for Sense instruments, the task was called remote feedback, and the conceptual and prototype demonstration of this we have clarified in the former presentation sessions. Further, values are generated for the individuals by providing recorded audio files, sound configurations, etc. that have been prepared by the music producer. Regarding the revenue streams on the very right bottom, this value creation can be paid per item. For instance, every feedback or audio file is associated with a certain price. Alternatively, a price model can issue the time-based billing. Of course, all these explanations refer to only some examples of a business model creation. This is indicated by the dots throughout the figure. As a conclusion, one can say there are numerous options to design attractive business models from the perspective of music producers. Coming to an interim conclusion from the first category of roles. We have seen that there are numerous options to design attractive business models from the perspective of musician-centered roles. Let's now focus on the industry-centered roles and start right away with the sound engineers. Please remark, in the following, I'm just going to summarize individual new business models. If you are interested in the detailed business model specification for a certain role or any kind of further information about the collaboration in the entire ecosystem, please do not hesitate to write an email. Do you remember the last presentation in which we have clarified the digital effect chain combination of the SensGuitar? The digitization already has been realized and shown by the prototype. Further, the audio processing by FPGA computers has been realized and shown by the prototype. First example effects have been provided by us, and the analogization has been realized in addition and shown by the prototype. So, any kind of audio manipulation carried out by the SensGuitar can be made audible via standard jacks. What does this mean for sound engineers? As the SensGuitar's FPGA computers provide a programmable interface, sound engineers can prepare further effects such as loops, echo, crunch, tremolo, octavers, etc. Hopefully, the model zoo of FPGA-based effects becomes bigger so that we can include them in the effect chain application you have seen at the prototype. Each effect model can be provided as part of an open source framework from the community, or they can be purchased per item, for instance. If you have any ideas about this, please let us know. We will find a way to make this reality. Let's now focus on the infrastructure providers. Do you remember the Sense instrument infrastructure architecture we have clarified in the last presentations? Currently, this architecture is provided and run by us. It is set up to demonstrate first examples that shall show the SensGuitar capabilities. What does this mean for individual musicians? As the SensGuitar's infrastructure provides a technical foundation for running, sharing, and providing apps, effects, integrate videos, games, etc., hopefully the user base of the SensGuitar becomes bigger so that we handle costs of that infrastructure anyhow. We are planning to release this infrastructure as open source so that it indeed can be hosted by the community, or they can be considered as paid service from us, for instance. There could be something like a consulting service for running this Sense instrument infrastructure, or advertising by interested parties too. If you have any ideas about this, please let us know and we will find a way to make this reality. Let's now focus on computer scientists. Do you remember the last presentation in which we have clarified the current application set of the SensGuitar? Numerous apps already have been prepared by us, and these can easily be updated over the air. These just refer to first examples that shall show the SensGuitar capabilities. What does it mean for computer scientists? As the SensGuitar's system-on-module computer provides a programmable interface, computer scientists can prepare further apps, integrate videos, games, etc. Hopefully, the model zoo of the SensGuitar apps becomes bigger so that we can include them in a prototype. So, next prototypes can hold even more applications than you have seen at the SensGuitar prototype version 1. Each app can be provided as part of the open source framework from the community, or apps can be purchased per item. For instance, there could be something like a Sense Instrument web platform providing apps for free and for purchase, so that each individual guitarist can customize the SensGuitar app configuration. If you have any ideas about this, please let us know and we will find a way to make this reality. Let's now focus on the technical experts. Currently, at the prototype version 1, we use an in-house developed metal framework that is stuck onto the fretboard display to realize bars. Next versions might realize alternative approaches. First, imagine a prototype using a protective foil that is stuck onto cover glass, having fabric threads in between the foil and glass. This might improve smoothness of bars. Second, imagine a protective foil that is stuck onto cover glass, having metal rods in between the foil and glass. These might be more stable than fabric threads. Third, a cover glass variant that has cutouts for embedding bars of the current metal frame. Maybe you have clever ideas too, so please feel invited to become part of the open source community and discuss ideas. Currently, at the prototype version 1, we use an in-house developed combination of components to digitize, process and analogize audio signals. Since these are still affected by the current power supply unit design, next versions need to care about the following. First, PCB variants and a software-based sound fine-tuning need to focus on crystal clear sound experience. Second, the in-house power supply unit needs to deal with electric peaks robustly. This comes into play if you would like to switch on all displays, all processors and heavy load apps simultaneously. Third, we need to care about certificates. So far, the prototype is a hobbyist good. Maybe you have clever ideas too, so please feel invited to become part of our open source community and discuss ideas. Currently, at the prototype version 1, we have a generous cutout in order to deal with XML stereo jack combos flexibly. As soon as we are ready with our SensGuitar jack standard, we are creating a perfect holder for the jacks. The following options seem attractive. First, a perfect cutout at the wooden body. Second, a 3D printed solution which is fixed on the wooden body. Further, we would like to include a truss rod and buttons because guitarists are used to it. Maybe you have clever ideas too, or you do not care about this, so please feel invited to become part of our open source community and start discussions about this. Let's now focus on the consultants. The entire set of Sense instrument roles and the corresponding ecosystem is attractive for consultants too. If anyone needs support at the sound design, PCB design, application development, infrastructure realization, producing components, etc., experts can be consulted. If you need any kind of support, please do not hesitate to ask us. Just write an email or visit our websites. We are pleased to help you progressing your project. Let's now focus on the manufacturers. Currently, at the prototype version 1, we realize SensGuitar components in an in-house production. This is capable for small numbers and prototype purposes only. Of course, this takes more time than having a network of business partners. But how to deal with greater SensGuitar order numbers? As soon as a high demand comes up, we will need to think about professional production lines and contract partners. In addition, the price reduction comes into play. Maybe we do not CNC mill bodies and necks by ourselves and find manufacturers. Greater numbers of electronic purchases will reduce purchase prices drastically. So far, we have focused on technical feasibility and a selection of best components available. And of course, if we address the final product, a high quality finish needs to be a standard. I am mentioning this because we have seen some comments on the current finish of the prototype in our 1-minute teaser video. So much about the corresponding background information. We have used a soft wood so that we can test CNC milling efficiently. Aside from this, we have used a clear coat in order to cover the wood. Of course, guitarists are used to fancy finishes, and we will deal with this. Maybe you have further ideas too? Please feel invited to become part of our open source community and start discussion on ideas. Coming to an interim conclusion for the second category of roles. We have seen that there are numerous options to design attractive business models from the perspective of industry-centered roles. As an overall conclusion on business models, from my perspective, the examples presented have clarified that there are numerous new business models and roles, and numerous options to design business models for each role. Especially at the beginning of the SensGuitar journey, there is a chance to design business models by cooperation with us. So if you have any ideas about this, please let us know. Just write an email or get in touch with us, and we will find a way to make this reality. If you are interested in the detailed business model specification for a certain role, or any kind of further information about the collaboration within the entire ecosystem, please do not hesitate to write an email. Let's now generalize the business model insights and speak about the positioning of roles in a sense instrument ecosystem. This integrates numerous roles in one system so that in a perfect world, the customer perceives a SensGuitar that satisfies all needs. If no desires are unfilled, next generation guitarists and musicians will be kept within the ecosystem designed. All the roles presented and even more can be part in this ecosystem that supports modern and innovative guitarists using a SensGuitar. At the very right, we can identify different kinds of customers. I assume you will recognize the one or other role from the scenarios we have addressed in former presentations. Right at the center, you can find the SensGuitar and roles that directly generate value for the SensGuitar and its physical manifestation. For instance, its electric boards need to be produced, its wooden components need to be manufactured, all needs to be sold. Social media channels can be integrated for streaming content such as YouTube, Twitch, etc. Certificates and standards are tested by trademarked institutions. Further, support and warranty will be provided by the company called SensGuitar. On the left of the SensGuitar, you can find the Sense instrument environment, which is provided by the SensGuitar 2. For instance, this includes the infrastructure clarified and a web-based platform enabling the customers to control the individual SensGuitar and any form of artificial intelligence. On the very left, you can find actors providing value for the SensGuitar via the Sense instrument environment. For instance, just to name a few, teachers are connected that upload valuable pedagogic concepts to make customers learn to play the guitar efficiently. Publishers can provide MIDI notes in songs that are attractive for customers. Big players or companies can be included in order to sell the SensGuitar. Different kinds of developers provide apps, progress hardware components, or FPGA programs. However, the dots indicates that this kind of ecosystem design is just an initial draft. Maybe you have further ideas, so please feel invited to become part of the open source community and progress concepts presented. And that is the essential idea. If you once recognize the potential of an open source instrument and the SensGuitar capabilities, you may identify the need to include many people, different roles, and to create a community. Hence, aside from providing a first prototype and the infrastructure required, we intend to create standards and interfaces that will enable a great number of community members to progress the concepts presented. As a researcher, I am pleased about the correct citation. As a company providing the SensGuitar and dealing with legal constraints, the SensGit is pleased about the support of the project. Maybe now, after having seen so many presentations about the SensGuitar, it becomes clear why we have put up the campaign targets. By the first target, we have prepared a way to participate for those who just like the idea of SensGuitars and sense instruments, but do not have an expertise in regard with one of the new roles we have clarified today. You can come as you are. You just need to be interested in the SensGuitar. We are guiding through joint design decisions, take your feedback by surveys, hold joint creative virtual sessions, and discuss options with you and the community. Because of your gusto, the next version of the SensGuitar will probably be even more to your needs than the first prototype, which is awesome from our perspective. By the second target, we have prepared a way to include your expertise. Probably you have an expertise in regard with one of the new roles we have clarified today. Since we aim to release SensGuitar components under an open source license, you have the chance to bring in your expertise. So you can take part at progressing the SensGuitar components, apps, effects, etc. These can be part of the next prototype version, which is awesome from our perspective too. As an interim conclusion, one can say these two targets enable anybody who is willing to be part of the development process and who is fan of the SensGuitar and the concepts. So please feel invited to become part of the SensGuitar community. For those who have a technical advanced understanding, let me deepen the open source strategy a bit. Source code we are going to release at the SensGit area at GitHub. So please feel invited to take a look at www.github.com/orgs/sensgit. Since each release takes time, and this is a great effort, we hope that the Kickstarter target goal is realized and you will enjoy the repository. Apps for being deployed to the SensGuitar we are going to release at the SensGit area at Docker's Hub. So far you can find prototype applications here. So please feel invited to take a look at hub.docker.com/search?q is SensGuitar. This will list all SensGuitar applications available. Hopefully, the Kickstarter target goal is realized and apps can be collected here, so that a great model zoo is set up in the long run. Let's conclude the business models, ecosystem, and community of SensGuitar we have issued today. As a summary, with this session we have based on insights of the SensGuitar prototype demonstration we have addressed in the recent presentation. Further, we have clarified numerous new roles, corresponding new business models, and their involvement in an economic ecosystem. With the aid of many people and the SensGuitar fans, experts as well as non-experts, we have clarified how the design of sensitive musical instruments can be progressed, as the concepts of first, digital twin, second, Internet of Things embedding, and third, cyber-physical system capabilities have been made clear in former presentations. Future development can be structured and guided efficiently by this. Further, with the aid of many people and SensGuitar fans, here I'm referring to experts as well as to non-experts, we will create plenty of demonstration cases showing the usefulness of the SensGuitar. So far, the usefulness only has been demonstrated on a prototype level in the common scenarios of first, education, second, production, and third, bands. I'm super interested to get to know about the usefulness in further scenarios and in further real-world validation levels of any SensGuitar musician or fan. Here, with the aid of many people and SensGuitar fans, be it experts as well as non-experts, further insights about the improvement of knowledge transfers can be generated. Since experiments on the improvement need to be realized, please feel free to write an email about this too. However, since we have clarified requirements as well as the design-oriented proceeding of PEFAS et al., you will find this in recent presentations. The requirements clarified will function as quality gate of further prototypes and on-building research. So from my point of view, we are best prepared for building on this as a community and bringing the prototype to reality with the aid of many people. Furthermore, it should be about communicating research results, advertising them, and building a scientific community, because the SensGuitar enables numerous interesting research projects. Okay, so much about the new topic for today. Since I assume you are happy to have a break before we deepen thematically here, we will end today's session. So you have a chance to think about the stuff you have seen, and you are fresh for more challenging topics in the next session. Details on the next session you can see at this slide. Hopefully we will meet there again. So much from my side today. I thank you for your attention, and I'm glad about every email and every exchange about the project of the SensGuitar, be it research projects, becoming part of the open source development team, or consulting projects in economy. Just ask or write an email. Those who would like to learn more about the concept of sensitive instruments, such as the SensGuitar, I invite to have a look on the website, to visit the public repository, where you can find the hyperlinks and respective references, tutorials, courses, and written work. Also, further examples can be found here, so that an artifact zoo can be built, simplifying your start with the SensGuitar, for instance.